time to fix another part of the Mark II. This is the steering shaft, goes from the steering box to the steering column. I had actually done this once, but things happen. As you can see, it's one hell of a mess right now. The gaiter decided to split for some reason, not quite sure why. Clip came off, and the plastic wheels in here, wheels or whatever we want to call them, the joint basically is shattered. So I've ordered new ones, and I ordered 2 and they sent me 3. For some reason they wrote down 3 by mistake, but it's not worth sending just one back. And also I got the new boot. This now needs to be taken apart, and probably I will have to repowder coat it. We will see. I don't think this paint will clean off. I will try, but I make no promises to myself, and if that's the case, then I will just repowder coat it and then assemble it again. So part and parcel of this job will be to take it apart, try cleaning it before I reassemble it. If that doesn't work, sandblast it all down, repowder coat it, and then put it all back together. So let's start getting it apart. Alright, in order to start dismantling this, first thing you have to do, apart from get rid of this crappy boot, oh, and that's one thing, the new gaiter didn't come with these clips, and these clips are use once, throw away. I'm going to try and reuse them, but I don't think I can. You have to, in here, Allen screws that you have to undo to separate this in order to be able to replace these, what do you want to call those things? Rollers. There you go. How about that for a on the move comment? And just get these loose. I'll be able to show you it coming apart. I'm hoping I don't have to take that universal joint off, but if I have to repowder coat this, I'm going to have to. That's going to suck, because they don't like to come out easy, which means I may end up having to buy a new one. Okay, there we go, that's one out. Two. And 3. I suppose the advantage is the fact that I have had this apart before. Everything's clean and all the threads were clean, so everything's coming apart pretty easily. And there is the final screw out, and this plate now is off, and I can test on this to see if I can get this off without repowder coating, but I don't think I'm gonna. And then you see, you just push that through, and once this is all cleaned up, then we'll put the new bushes on. That's an interesting thought. How does that come off? Oh, right, yes, I think, if I am correct, but there is there's probably an Allen screw in here, so that you can get that shaft out. Or maybe it just presses out. Let me just try this in here a second. Oh kiddies, looks like this just presses out. I don't see anything in there. So that's a surprise that that is just a press fit. I'm going to have to come back on that because I want to clean that in there deeper, and I'll let you know. Okay, so this is where we are to now. Let me give a go. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, you have to be careful of that. Right. Yeah, that's not coming out of there anytime soon. So next thing to do is to start checking and seeing if I can clean this off. I'm not going to bother showing you guys me cleaning this off. That's not going to be part of the normal work that you'd be interested in. So let me have a go at that first, and then if that doesn't work, start a blasting. Okay, here we go. Okay, as it turns out, I can't just clean this paint off without damaging the powder coat, so I'm going to have to take this thing completely apart and re-powder coat it, which is a little depressing because I'm having to do the work twice. What's worse is that this paint is all over the front subframe, which I had powder coated at great expense. Now I have to totally dismantle the front subframe and the brakes and everything that's on it, and again spend more money to have the front subframe re-powder coated. A little depressing, that, and the fact again that I have to do all the work again, but I want it to be right, so that's what I'm going to do. On this joint, obviously I do have to take this joint apart now, and if you've never done one of these, what you do is you get your little circlip pliers, give it a squeeze and a whoops, and then it normally goes ping across the workshop. So yeah, this one of course doesn't want to come out because I'm filming me doing it. I can squeeze it. Oh, you little well, this one really is a toughie. And it was caught. Oh, come along now, play the game. There we go. Okay, that went over there, I saw that. Alright, so once that's off, then the next thing, unfortunately, what you have to do is press out the caps, and the only way I know to do that is with a hammer. So let's get myself a little hammer out of the selection of hammers and see if this will do it just on the bench here. And of course in doing this I'm definitely going to damage the powder coat, which is too bad anyway. I'm hoping I can do it without damaging the joint, but I don't think I can. Musky. When this comes apart, you have to watch you don't lose all the needles. Which is why I may need to buy a new joint. Unfortunately, as these are a good press fit, it's almost impossible to get them out. I've got a feeling it's going to get destroyed. Yes, you see, this one doesn't want to go any further now. It's hitting. So it looks like I'm going to have to get a pair of grips on that, and that will damage it, and that means I've got to buy a new one. Alright, I've got to do what I've got to do. Oh, and by the way, on this end, this thing here, yeah, that is a press fit. There is no screw in there. Delved around in there and I couldn't find anything, so let me just have one last delve. Delve, he went delve. Nope. So that's a press fit, so that's got to be pressed out and pressed back in, or tapped out and tapped back in. Probably do that with a socket and a hammer. Shit, let's try it now, why not? What have I got to lose? Huh. Let me see. Look at that. Perfect fit. And let us see if we can do this. I'm doing it live. Well, that answers that question. It does have to be drifted out and drifted in. What I do need now is a punch. There's me punch, Judy. There we go. I think the biggest one I got. I would do this with a brass one, but I seem to have misplaced it. I'm not quite sure where it is. I think I'm going to have to buy a new one. There she blows. So that shaft is now out, which means this will now separate, just like that. And do note, this has to go a particular way. Not that you could really make the mistake, because that goes on there, just like that. But there is a chamfer here. Obviously that's for the pivoting action. So just bear that in mind, but you can't really get it wrong because the bolts go through here and into this plate. So, you know, it should be simple, but you might end up one day, yeah, you could end up putting it on the wrong way and then wondering why you can't get everything done, but it won't take you long to figure it out. Alright. Oh, and by the way, keep everything in a bag. The clips I've taken out, they're here. The other one that shot across the garage, I'll go and grab that. Alright, I can see this is going to be fun. Right, onward and upward, kids. I will. What will I be showing you next? There's no point in showing you the powder coating. I guess the next thing you will see will be me with all the parts and reassembling it. Right, next little piece is stripping all of this powder coat off. And one thing I do want to mention is in this piece, where these bolts go through, they all have spring washers on them, so don't lose them. 4 little spring washers. I nearly lost them because I forgot, but do note that. So keep them all together in a little bag. Now let's start stripping this off, and I will be using good old aircraft remover. So we'll get that off, and then we'll tape it all up and powder coat it. Right, here are the components cleaned up and ready to be powder coated. The aircraft remover did not take the powder coat off. Now I put powder coat on because it is durable, proved to be very durable. Won't stop me from doing it. I'm still going to continue to do it, but just to let you know, all it did was soften it, and then when I put it in my blaster to blast it off, obviously it was just hitting a soft powder coat and it had no effect. So in the end I had to take all of this off with a wire brush, and as you can see it came out pretty well. Next I will powder coat it and show you the end result. Here we are, all the components of that steering column. Time to put it all back together. Obviously wrapped underneath the tape here is the universal joint, and I did succeed in getting that out without damaging it, so I'm pleased about that, saved me having to buy another one. The only thing I don't have is the straps for this. I may just have to use normal, I know them as Jubilee clips, hose clips. I'll see. There are some steel cable ties I've seen in the store, so maybe I'll get some of those. Alright, time to put it together. I'll show you me doing that, so let's get on with it. The first thing I like to do is to put the U-joint together and put it on the shaft. The reason I do that is U-joints are a real pain in the butt. You've got to get them lined up, and you've got to make sure that the roller bearings don't move. So hopefully, I don't know if you can see this, guys, but got to try and get that in the bottom there. Okay, that's just going in now. You've got to get it in there. There we go. Ah! Oh, I hate it when it does that. Get back in there. There we go. Okay, alright. I might have to squeeze this one in and the vise. Oh, that's going. That's good. Alright, we're partially there. Now let's see if we can get this one on without getting the roller bearings out of the way. Okay, good, good. Okay. Alright, that's gone in nicely. Okay, then you get your circlip and pop it in. Make sure it clicks in. Okay, now this one is not gone in deep enough, so we're going to have to squeeze that in a bit. Now we could hit it with a hammer, but I don't like doing that, so let me go and get a socket. Next thing to do is to get this shaft back through its little hole here. Okay, I'm just trying to put this on here so that it holds it out of my way. It's not its final resting position. Alright, I can't be bothered. So now we need to get this pin in here. We should be able to tap it in. Whoops. Doesn't matter which end you put in where, just as long as you get it in the hole. That's all they care about. Just get it in the hole. Okay, we just need a little deeper. And we try and do it close. And let's see. Yeah, that's just over ½ an inch. That is just over ½ an inch, so that's absolutely perfect. And this, whoops, get in the middle, thank you. There, now, what has to happen is these go on there, like this. Oops. Oops, if you get it on straight. Come on. There you go. And you see, then they reside, hopefully, in there. There you go. And you've got the chamfer here to allow movement. Okay. And it will do this as well, you see. Now, that's dry at the moment. I will fill this full of grease. I know they're nylon, but I just like to have grease in here. Next thing you're going to have to do is attach this plate. One thing to note when you're putting this shaft together, this cap here on the end will only go on in one of two positions because the holes are off center, should we say, from each other. There's a bigger gap between those two than there is between those two. So consequently, when you go to put it on, it will only go in this orientation or 180 degrees around. Okay, just thought I'd let you know that. This is a 3/16 hex Allen, whatever you want to call it, that fits in here. I have already put grease in this side. Once I've done this up, then I'll pack this side with grease, and then I will slide the boot on and get the wire ties over it. Well, the stainless steel wire ties. I just wanted to finish this video now by showing you the shaft put back together, with the exception of the straps that have got to go on here. I'll have to go down the car parts store and get those. But there she is, back together, cleaned up. And I had to do all of that work purely because it got paint on it. So the next thing I have to do is take my front subframe completely apart, remove the springs, remove the shocks, remove the brakes, remove the hubs, and get that down to the powder coater. I can do small items like this. I can do anything that will fit in a domestic oven, but what I cannot do is a complete front subframe. I don't have an oven big enough, so that's going to be a few $100 more for me to get that done. Next thing I will do video wise will probably be lapping in the valves on the cylinder head, or what am I waiting for? I'm waiting for something to go on the bottom of the engine. No, I'm not. Oh, I know, I'm waiting for, let me just take you over here. I'm waiting for this guide, slipper, whatever you want to call it, that goes here. Because when I bought the kit, it had one from a different engine. It didn't have the correct one for my engine. So that's the next thing that I'll do, and then once that's done, then I can put the timing cover on. I've got to bend the tabs over on this. Obviously I'll be bending the tabs over on that. Then I can put the timing cover on, then I can turn her over, and then put the oil pan on. Alright, that's on my next video.